Hello and welcome, my fellow modeling and tabletop gaming enthusiasts, to the Mediocre Modeler Show. Today is going to be the Adepticon recap episode. I just a couple hours ago got home from the world's premier tabletop gaming convention in Schaumburg, Illinois, Adepticon 2024. You can probably tell from my voice, I've been talking a lot, shouting a lot, overcrowded gaming halls and vendor halls and stuff the last several days. So my voice is a little worn out, but as always, an absolutely incredible, fantastic event. The Adepticon crew puts on an amazing event. All the organizers for all the different events and the vendors, it's just an absolutely fantastic event. I strongly encourage anyone that's interested in tabletop gaming to try and make it to Adepticon sometime. So with that being said, I'll talk a little bit about what I did while I was there. And then, of course, what you're all here for, we're going to look at all the stuff that I bought. So, for the second year in a row, I took my lovely wife with me. She agreed to go last year. And then shortly after we got back last year, asked when the hotel blocks went up for reservation again so we could go this year. Unfortunately, we did not get a room at the Renaissance in Schaumburg, but we got one at another hotel not too far away. Worked out pretty well. We had a vehicle because, we're only about 5 hours away, so she could shuttle me back and forth, or I could drive myself over later in the evening to hang out with my friends. So we got to town Wednesday afternoon. I ran over to the Ren a couple of times just to hang out with some friends, see everybody, kind of start the weekend off right. So Thursday morning, we didn't have a whole lot scheduled, so we got to the hotel probably about 8:30, which was good because parking was already almost non-existent at that point, about 8:30 Wednesday morning. And we didn't have anything until 10 o'clock. We had a demo for Star Trek Into the Unknown, which is a tabletop sort of fleet action game from WizKid Games, good old WizKids. There were some shipping issues, so the demo didn't go as smoothly as it really probably could have. What I took away from it, the models were fantastic, and the gameplay isn't bad. It's really crunchy, and super amounts of crunch aren't really my thing, but whatever. And again, I think these shipping issues, because they only had one demo set for about a dozen or so people, maybe a little bit more, so we didn't really get as much of an intensive run through as we probably would have had the other kits been there at that time. And they did eventually arrive, but by that point it was about halfway through the demo time that we had scheduled. So I can't really say one way or the other. Didn't really get a good opportunity to really play it, but the game, it hasn't even released yet. I think it's supposed to be coming out this summer, but it might be worth checking out. If I could get more of a proper introduction to it, might be, something definitely worth looking into, because I love Star Trek. Absolutely love Star Trek. And ships, ships are what I love about Star Trek. So might have to touch on that one again. I don't know if we did much else on Thursday because we had the rest of the day free. It was kind of nice. Went out to Giordano's for pizza that evening. And then Friday is when I was signed up for the Horus Heresy tag team event with my good buddy Joe. He was playing his Iron Hands. I was playing my Solar Auxilia. We played 3 games throughout the day. Managed to lose all 3. 2 out of the 3 were pretty fun games. As just there to roll dice and have fun. So that was Friday. Friday evening, we also had a traditional non-official event, the Praetor Championship Wrestling. That's always a fun one. I've gotten to be the master of ceremonies for that the last 2 years, so hopefully keep that tradition alive. Crowned a new champion of Praetor Fight Club. Don't talk about Fight Club. Which was pretty entertaining. And then Saturday, this is something that we've done the past 2 years. Nothing on the schedule. Don't sign up for anything. I know some people just love loading up their schedules with classes and events when they go to Adepticon. I'll always do the tag teams, and I might try and find like a demo for my wife and I to do. Just so she, because she's willing to do it with me. So I try to get at least something we can do as a couple. But Saturdays, we don't schedule anything. And what we ended up doing was taking my buddy and his teenage son to the division, or the 1st Infantry Division Museum at Cantini Park. And it's a really cool museum, kind of broken up into 2 parts. The first part covers World War I through the Vietnam War, which is a really fantastic, I don't even know how to describe it. But, I mean, there's, as they termed it, life-size dioramas that you can walk through, all kinds of artifacts on display, and it's really pretty cool. And then the other side is more modern stuff. Bit of a smaller exhibit. Obviously, we're still in those times, but still some pretty cool stuff. The really, really cool thing about the museum at Cantini is they have a tank park. They have a number of American tanks stretching all the way from World War I up through the modern era. So they have a Model 1917, a Renault FT, an American-built FT. They've got a M5 Stuart, an M24 Chaffee, M41 Walker Bulldog, all varieties of Patton. So they've got an M46, M47, M48 Patton. They have a T26 E4 as well, which is pretty neat. An M551 Sheridan. They've got an M113, and then they have an M1 Abrams as well, and then they've got a French Schneider field piece, World War I howitzer. They've all been restored. They're in wonderful shape considering they're outside. You can walk all around them, and the best part is you can climb on them too, which was absolutely insane. And I'd heard this thing before. I'd heard this before, but I'd never really put it together. But I think we were in front of the Chaffee, and my wife is reading the placard that they have out there, and at the very bottom it has a thing that says, "Oh, please supervise your children when climbing on or around to the tanks." What? So at that point, me and my buddy's son could not have climbed on top of that tank and the rest of the tanks any faster. You know, I got a number of pictures of that, which was pretty cool. And then the rest of Saturday was just kind of hanging out. And then another thing that me and a bunch of friends in the heresy community started doing is we do sort of an indie game show and tell. We did it last year with a couple of games from Black Site Studios, and then we did it again this year. We played a custom scenario that my buddy JP wrote for Don't Look Back, which was the Golden Girls versus the Evil Dead. I actually just spectated that one. I kind of pushed my wife into playing that one, but it was really entertaining, and my buddy JP did an absolutely incredible job writing this scenario. And then after we wrapped that up, my other buddy Jake ran us through a delve, as they would call it, in Elder Scrolls Call to Arms, which is the Elder Scrolls tabletop game from Modiphius. He and I did a demo of it about 2 years ago, and we both kind of bought into it. He's gotten into it more than I have, just because he's played Elder Scrolls and Skyrim and all of that. But it's a really fun game, has absolutely wonderful models, really well-made models. So we did that, had a lot of fun doing that, and that pretty much wrapped up our night last night. And then this morning, again, not signed up for anything. This is the go-home day, so my wife and I just kind of hang out and then stop back, spent about an hour going through the vendor hall again. This is kind of the time to just kind of slowly meander through, just to see if there's any last-minute things. You know, most of the vendors I was expecting to be there were. I was a little disappointed because Trenchworks kind of had a booth, but they had some issues getting enough product to bring, so they didn't have anything for sale, and I wasn't able to catch any of the guys. I swear I saw Dave walking around at one point when I was trying to find their booth, but didn't think to say, "Hey, Dave, you know, where's your booth at? What do you guys got?" But I did message them on Facebook and got a response later that evening, kind of just saying what the situation was. But they did have coupons for 15% off and free shipping as an Adepticon special that's good for a few more days. So I'm probably going to pick up an item or two from Trenchworks, because y'all know how much I love Trenchworks stuff. But, you know, I mean, the vendor hall was great, as always, picked up a lot of stuff, and you know, that's what we're going to go through. But yeah, it was absolutely fantastic experience. You know, just got back, so I'm a little tired, you know, but can't wait for next year. So without any further ado, we're not going to go to the bench. We're going to have to go down to the floor, because I got a lot of stuff to show off. So let's go ahead and take a look at all the new stuff that you might be seeing reviews on here in the near future. All right, so starting off, we've got this wonderful 3x3 neoprene mat from Black Site Studios. This is the Camp Northwood mat. So perfect for games of Don't Look Back, as well as any other games you might have in mind. Just kind of ignore the mess around here. They make a wonderful terrain set that's called Camp Northwood. That's basically a summer camp that would go perfectly on this. But yeah, it's a really awesome mat. I've got one other mat from Blacksite Studios, the 2x2 space map for Lunar. But definitely wanted this one for some games that Don't Look Back. They have some other really nice ones that I'll probably be looking at in the future as well. So, moving on along, real exciting. I got this giant D20 from Mythica Gaming. I'm not like a role player, but I just wanted a large D20 just for the sake of it, just to kind of have something fun around. So that was pretty cool. One of the first things that I bought in the vendor hall was actually, was this, but also this right here, which is it's a laser cut MDF army tray. This is from Table War. They had a bunch of these pre-assembled with different matte inserts. I just picked one at random. I kind of wish I'd picked a different one, but I might just take this out. But this works well, has handles you can carry your army, and especially with Solar Auxilia, I've got so many models that it's a pain to take them in and out of the foam. The other really cool thing about these is they fold. You can take them apart and break them down flat, and it will actually fit inside this box. And they did include the box with all of the pre-assembled trays. So this is definitely going to come in handy a lot in the future. As you can see, I've already kind of started detailing a little bit with the Bolter Club, and an old Spaceman with Guns thing, because why not? I have a lot of those sitting around. So this is pretty cool. I'm probably going to leave it assembled, to be quite honest, because it was a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, definitely probably going to leave that just assembled for the time being. So, moving on along, we've got a lot of stuff to get through here. So, without any real order, we're going to start going through. So, Clash of Steel. This was one of the VIG items. I think you got a choice between American and Soviet, or German and British. Now, this is from Gale Force 9, I believe, in collaboration with Battlefront. It's the same 15mm scale, basically immediate post-World War II, almost sort of alternate history tank-on-tank fights. This is not out yet. I'm not sure when exactly it's supposed to come out. I think it's on pre-order for like $60 right now at a number of places. I did not get the VIG, but I was sitting with my friends Wednesday night in the Heresy Hall, and we were just talking. A couple of guys had gotten them. I said, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. I could use some of that stuff with the Flames of War stuff I have. And then one of my friends was just like, just give me $20. I'm like, thought about her. And it's like, well, can you break a 50? So I ended up getting this one. And the guy sitting next to me was like, yeah, I'd take that deal too. So I got both the American and Soviet and the German versus British Clash of Steel sets. So just a quick look. We can definitely take a review of this later on. As you can see, one has 17 tanks, one has 21 tanks. It's also got rules, counters, some dice, and everything that you'd need to get started. And, the classic, Battlefront or Gale Force 9. I think these are all Battlefront miniatures. So, like, here's a Tiger 2. So this particular set for the Germans versus British, you get one mouse, you get 2 Tiger 2s, 1 Tiger 1, 3 Panzer 470s, and then you get 4 Centurions, 2 Tortoises, and 3 Comets for the British there. And then in the American side, for American versus Soviet, we get 2 T-28s, 3 T-29s, and then 2 M18 Hellcats. And then the Soviets get 6 T-54-1s, 3 IS-3s, and 5 ISU-130s. So you get a pretty good assortment of stuff in there. And we can definitely, I've got a lot of stuff that I can do out-of-box reviews on, which is going to be pretty awesome. So, get some of this stuff out of the way. And then I kind of went little crazy at the Warlord booth, as tends to happen every single day. I mean, I didn't go crazy every single day, but we did get a fair amount from Warlord. I just got to make sure I get everything out that came from a Warlord. And if we miss something, we'll just go back through it. So, started out with a U.S. Marine Corps support group. I did, for Christmas, get the HQ set as well as the medium machine gun. But what I didn't have was a medium mortar. So I bought this one specifically so I could get a second machine gun as well as the mortar. And then I've got bonus extras of all of these, which would be pretty cool. And definitely useful. Also picked up a Marine Raider squad. So we've got 10 miniatures in there with, they got Thompson's, one guy with a shotgun, guys with rifles, and a couple with BARs, which is pretty neat. Yeah, so that's going to be pretty awesome for my current Marine project. As well, I also picked up the U.S. Marine Weapon Team. So both of these are metal, and this is actually the Warlord resin. I haven't built, well, I built some resin and metal Warlord models, but I really do like the metals. But, you know, as was explained to me, you know, I don't have to ship those halfway across the world. So this one's got the flamethrower team, the sniper team, as well as the bazooka team. And out of my plastic box, I've already built a bazooka team and a sniper team, but, you know, why not have more? You know, nothing wrong with that. The resin does look pretty nice. I gotta admit. So yeah, we'll go ahead and just move this back out of the way here as I pop the darn thing apart. Yeah, we'll fix that later. That's not a right now problem. Okay, so continuing along. So I bought those three the first day, and as a bonus, there is a, I think it was like Bombshell Miniatures or something. They have an exclusive figure that if you spent $75, you got that. So I got that, which is pretty cool. Nice Bombshell figure. What else? I got a squad of Schreckwolfen to add to my Germans for Conflict 47. They had one of these there. I didn't grab it the first day because I felt I was already spending enough money for the day, of course. So I went back, I think it was Friday, I ran down there, and a couple of guys were looking at all the Conflict 47 stuff, so I was just kind of waiting, and one of them just said, oh, you know, don't be shy, jump in here. And it's like, well, it looks like they might have already sold what I was looking for, which was the Schreckwolfen. And the guy, you know, picks it up, and I think he actually had it in team. He's like, I've been kind of waffling on it. He's like, oh, you know, I said, I don't want to take it if you're going to get it. And he's like, well, you know, I've been hemming and hawing, but if you're going to do it, then, you know, here you go. And I'm like, you know, I got you. It's too cool to pass up. So squad of Schreckwolfen will be something that's going to come out. We'll definitely get reviews on a lot of this stuff. Of course, plastic M4 Sherman. Colin, if you're watching, this one's for you, buddy. Good old M4 Sherman. I figure I need some armored support for the Marines, so a good M4A3. I can confirm that this is in fact an M4A3. Rivets have been counted. I've been assured of that. So an M4A3 would be nice backup for the Marines. Yeah, I mean, I built one of these with my Conflict 47 starter set. Had the plastic tank, excuse me, but also had the Tesla turret. So this one's just the regular turret. Okay. Also yesterday, they had the Soldier of Fortune miniature. This little Last Rites mini diorama, Captain John S. Maloney, which is apparently a scene from Band of Brothers. So this is the, I believe, the March Warlord exclusive online only figure. They managed to get a couple of them shipped over for Adepticon, so I just decided why not and picked one up. I don't have any airborne. I don't have paratroopers. I don't plan on it, but I figured why not? It'd be a cool little vignette that I could paint up and just display. All right, and then one of today's purchases before heading out was, of course, the M4A3E8 Easy 8 Sherman. So that's definitely reinforcements for my Americans in Europe for my U.S. Army. It's gonna be pretty cool. because Easy 8s are awesome. I did actually get to see an Easy 8. I need to double check it was in fact an Easy 8 at the 1st Infantry Division Museum at Cantini yesterday, which was pretty cool. You know, it comes with all the goodies, so you get an order die, the destruction markers, the card, and a really nice decal sheet, which should be pretty cool. And then, just because it was there, grabbed a KFZ 222, little armored car, which did not have nearly as many pieces as I thought, which is pretty sweet. But this is a resin and metal model, so it's got the resin hull, white metal turret and guns and wheels and everything, so that's pretty neat. I just kind of like these little armored cars. So that's most, if not all, of the stuff I picked up from Warlord. I think we'll see what else we find in here. So just kind of get all of these off to the side, and we got a lot of stuff. Okay, so another pretty cool thing. I picked up one of the Adepticon exclusive paint sets from Monument Hobby, the spray team. They had a couple of different sets, and a buddy of mine had asked me to stop by their booth to pick up this one on Thursday, but they were sold out. But they were having more overnighted to them. So I came back Friday to grab it for him, and I started looking at it, and I'd seen some previews of it ahead of time. I was looking at the colors. It's like, you know what? Those actually wouldn't be too bad for doing fall oak leaf camo pattern for my Germans for bolt action in Conflict 47. So I went ahead and grabbed another one for myself. So this is actually my first Pro Acryl paint set. So I've never used any Pro Acryl paint in the past, and everybody just seems to rave about them. So I'll definitely be giving these a try here at some point in the future. So we've got 6 colors. So I'm looking forward to giving that a try at some point. Also picked up a couple of Velcro patches for various things for one of my battle foam bags. Okay, so we got the Adepticon exclusive dice. Normally I just get a t-shirt, which I neglected to do this year, but I did pre-order the dice set, so you can never have too many dice, of course, which reminds me of one other thing. Grab some order dice. I was kind of hoping for the same OD green that I've gotten with some of the Marine figures and with my Sherman now. But, you know, this works too. You know, good to have some backups at least so it doesn't order dice. Okay, so jumping into the last of the stuff we've got. Okay, so another kind of cool thing here is I got a challenge coin from the guys at the Iterators podcast, a heresy sort of lore podcast, who are sponsored by Hangar 18 Hobbies. So that's pretty cool. Got some nice heft to it. So that's pretty neat. But the other, actually didn't spend that much there, did I? Oh well. So had to go to Black Site Studios for a number of things. So, of course, obviously this. Picked up the supporting characters for Don't Look Back. I absolutely love these VHS cases. If you guys saw the review on the Don't Look Back 2nd edition set that I got back in the winter. So I got the supporting characters, which comes with 6 resin figures plus a card for sort of their rules for supporting characters for Don't Look Back, which is awesome. Supporting characters they're actually really helpful, really useful in the game. Picked up a VHS expansion called Session 0, which just released at Adepticon. I believe it's up for sale on their website now, but this just released and came up for sale at Adepticon, so I figured I should probably grab that, because it's actually kind of a LARPing RPG expansion, where it's like tabletop RPG Inception. So the characters are playing their RPG with the killer, so it comes with a new character, one of the core characters in a costume, but it also comes with a new killer and all the stat cards and everything for that. So that was pretty neat. Of course, just picked up an extra token set because you can, I mean, these are just great to have. Just quick punch out tokens, get some light tokens, all of these different statuses, basically points of interest. Fright tokens are really nice to have, supporting characters, but now I've got the actual resin ones. You know, and on the flip side, we've got the bleeding tokens or the wounds and everything like that. So that's pretty neat to have. Those will definitely come in handy. And then there were one that I really, really am glad that I grabbed the first day. It's tough to see, but this is actually 2 characters, the Grimchesters. A take on Sam and Dean Winchester from the show Supernatural, which I've been a huge fan of for probably 13 or 14 out of the 15 seasons when I first got introduced to it back in about 2007, up until the show finished at the end of its 15th season. They don't have their own rules. You can create your own rules for them, which is something that the new rulebook has mechanics for. So I picked these up on Thursday, and I believe they were sold out by Friday. And I'd always just hemmed and hawed on picking them up on the web store, and I'm glad I did it because I finally got them now. Now I just need to get their car. So that's pretty cool. And then Warlord did it this year too, but Blacksite Studios always does some Adepticon exclusive figures that they'll have for sale at Adepticon. They're usually available on their web store as well until supplies run out. So I grabbed the Commonwealth Astronaut for Lunar, just because I have Lunar. I like Lunar. I want to get back into it now after playing some more games. I want to get back into playing a lot more this year, but I'm going to have a lot of commission projects coming up. So definitely grab the Commonwealth Astronaut, and then they also have this Agent Condor, which is pretty cool. It's like an 80s dude, long hair, goatee, wielding a Desert Eagle. He's got a katana on his back, playing a keytar. So it's just a cool miniature. Make your own rules for it, so that'll be kind of cool. But yeah, so grabbed all these 3 plus the mat that very first day, and yeah, I'm glad I grabbed all of those. Yeah, and that is actually all that I bought at Adepticon 2024. I'm going to throw in just a little bit of a bonus for you, though. Again, I'd mentioned we played Elder Scrolls. My good buddy Jake, who I mentioned before, he picked up a couple of expansion sets for Elder Scrolls Call to Arms, the Adventurers Fortune Hunters, as well as the Bandit Outlaws. And he bought these, and the same as he did when he bought the first stuff 2 years ago, he's just sent them straight home with me to have him paint them up. So I'm gonna at some point get these painted up for him, try and do it, you know, sooner rather than later. So he got these 2. Plus, since he spent, you know, a certain amount of money, he got some extras from Modifius. This one here is an unmasked dragon priest. Kind of tough to see, but yeah, so I'll be working on that. And then he also got sort of an exclusive Dragonborn figure, which is pretty neat. Comes in a nice little, little promo figure, nice little case. So, yep, be working on getting those painted for him as well as all the other stuff that I got coming in. So that's just not exactly quick, but that's a rundown of all the stuff that I picked up at Adepticon this year. Some pretty good stuff. Yeah, and again, Mediocre Modeling Studios, my commission business. You know, I made enough money to pay for all of this stuff, so definitely worth the effort and everything. And absolute great time. This is a lot of the reason I go, is to get new stuff. I guess I'm kind of a collector. Which, now that I'm back from Adepticon, means that tomorrow, the day that I take off work every year, I always take the day off after, means I get to clean up the hobby space. So that'll be fun. Maybe I'll give a little video tour after I clean the hobby space. We'll see. So thank you folks very much for watching. I'm just going to do the outro from the floor here, because then I gotta clean all this stuff back up so I can move around. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have any questions or anything about Adepticon or any of the stuff that I picked up, what you'd like, let me know what you'd like to see a review of first. And we can definitely try and put some priority to that and see what we get. So, of course, any questions, comments, concerns, just leave me a note down below. So until next time, folks, thank you very much for watching. So may your paints be thin, your brushes be pointy, and your dice be hot.